Well, welcome back to Gabbing Geek, your favorite blabcast podcast where we like to talk about movies and TV and fantasy and science fiction and video games and board games and all things geeky. This is episode 67, or as we're going to call it, Gotta Gab 'em All, because I think we'll be talking about a little bit something that's similar to that phrase. I don't know what it could be, but we'll discover in just a few seconds. But my name is Ryan Garcia. With me, as almost always, is Jimmy Musachu Impossible.
That's cute.
Did you know there's a huge community that's very vocally upset that there is no moose-based Pokemon.
Is it just,
are they all Canadians?
North of a certain parallel?
I think both of them are.
A lot of maple
not sure,
syrup on their, scrambled eggs.
That's just me with several different accounts.
That's true. Also with us, as always, is Jenny Fema Lizard Newman.
Oh, with a scaly skin.
Yeah, something. There we go. And of course, with us, as almost always, is William. I have a Mewtwo in my van, kids. Watson.
I don't understand the reference, but I know it's bad.
Yeah.
Don't take Mewtwo from a stranger.
Or a Watson, even if you know him. Well, yes, I think it's pretty obvious what the first thing is we're going to be talking about, because, listen, unless you've been living under a rock, and honestly, even if you've been living under a rock, you're still playing.
There was a Pokemon there! There was a Pokemon under the rock!
Under the rock under which you live, there is a Pokemon right now. No, Pokemon Go has completely taken off, and it's been amazing to kind of see it take hold like this. So quick show. I mean, who's playing? I mean, I'm playing. Shannon's already been waving your phone.
My boys are coming in this weekend, and I'm going to convince them that all the best Pokemons are out in the hiking trails. So.
Well, no, the game is designed to walk and play.
Yeah.
Like it's
what Michelle Obama couldn't do in 7 years, Pokemon did in 1 week. Got America exercising.
Like pretty quickly, you actually collect eggs, and they require you to walk a certain amount of distance to hatch them. Mm-hmm. So you have to walk like anywhere 2, 5, or 10 kilometers.
Hey, I'll get into this here in just a little bit, but Jonathan and I were just coming home, and we saw a dad and his son in actual hiking gear, hiking our Greenbelt trails right over here with their little walking poles and their Pokemon. It was awesome. It was awesome. And they raised their phone to us, and we raised our phone to them, and we had like a cheers moment. It was awesome.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of very pasty, out-of-shape people exercising, and I say...
That's me!
They hold up their phone, and I give them a knowing nod. I mean, even though I'm actually just running, because I'm waiting for my boys to come home to do this Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
I will say that I've never been into the Pokemon. I think this is kind of cool.
You haven't played any Pokemon at all?
No. But
I've never either before.
Yeah, but really? What I think is fascinating is my Facebook page right now is filled with grown-ups with pictures of animated monsters and horrible, horrible things about race relations. It's like, that's the two things that are on my Facebook page right now. It's either bad stuff about race or Pokemon. I mean, it's like a weird contrast. Like I'm scrolling, happy, sad.
Yeah.
Happy.
We're in Wacky World right now. You know that.
I know, but it's like, I don't know.
Well, I think that's part of the appeal of it, right? Is that it's a fun, innocent, mindless thing, as in contrast to all the serious and horrible stuff going on.
I know, right?
Wait. I'm apparently the resident Pokemon expert, since none of you have played the game before. And I will say this about this version of the game. It's brilliant that Nintendo finally went away from a Nintendo console, right? That we now have access to this one game that was very popular and has been very popular for many, many years. For many years, since the beginning of Nintendo time to where we are today. But the sheer gameplay is completely different, because you used to be able, the concept of catching something and collecting it and moving it forward and trying to grow its power is still the same. But now it's based off of how many you catch and if you're actually going out there and catching them, where it used to be that you had to kind of power up a couple of them and keep a base and then try to go and play the game inside the world of your console. But now it's just like go out and explore the world around you and catch as many as you can. And I like that.
I caught something. It was called Herpesaurus. It was called Herpesaurus. I caught it. It was at the base, and it's very painful.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. I know it is. I know, Watson. And if you look even harder, you'll find crabs too. So just keep looking.
There's Pokemon.
Oh no! See now Jenny's making a joke, but this actually happened to us at work. I was pointing out that at our main office. No. At our main office,
I caught crabs at work.
Yep. There's a lure. There was a lure at the front office, and so I went and I caught something like a Pokemon, and I was showing then I was over in Jenny's workspace, and I said, "Oh yeah, I found this." Crab. And she said, "Oh, I already got crabs at Starbucks." Just really loudly.
I did. I'm not denying it.
At the Mothership Corporation, I think that they're actually designing a special Pokemon and putting it there, and they know who catches it, and then they're going to fire you people for not doing your jobs at work, going around catching Pokemon in the break room.
But I mean, the concept of this is pretty amazing because you're having this virtual reality, this GPS based game that is based in your own world, your own reality. So your street has now become a game. Your office has now become a game, and this is brilliant because we haven't really seen this really personal aspect to game playing in a long time. And for Nintendo to do it and for them to do it around a really popular game that's been around for years, I think is a smart move. I mean, what was the jump up in billions that they had?
Well,
their stock.
How many people? Oh, they were saying a few billion. Yeah.
How are they monetizing this? Right? Is the game cost anything, or is it ad based?
There's stuff you can buy. You can buy coins, which you then turn in for.
Oh gosh, this is going to cost me a fortune when my kids start.
It will. Hey, let me tell you this. There's also a business adventure because there's a girl right now actually hawking.
Oh really?
Hawking her services to be a Pokemon trainer. If you pay her $20 an hour, she will go and get Pokemon for you using your phone. Yeah, this is real.
I would not give my phone to someone and pay them.
So hold on. She's being paid to play a game.
She'll go and do it for you. So when you're sitting at home.
If you pay me $20, I'll go see a movie for you, okay?
Hey,
that Pokemon whore can take it.
I'm not giving someone my phone and paying them. That's just silly.
So what about an interesting angle is, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of scams going on. I mean, that's a legitimate,
like the robber, the robbers that we heard about.
People getting hurt, people walking out in the street, people running into stuff. Ryan, I think you and I should just quit Dell tomorrow and go into the Pokemon plaintiff's injury, plaintiff's law firm, right?
Honestly,
people on Pokemon-related class actions.
We heard it here first. There's been a story of one spot where allegedly 2 or 3 people were held up. I think first of all, those are the worst thieves in the history of ever because it's not like these Pokemon players are walking around with tons of money. They're walking around with a phone.
Yeah.
You want to go rob someone? Go buy an ATM.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, or one person's been injured. I think more than one person's been injured by a cow this summer. But it's just Pokemon Go is so popular that of course that's what the media is kind of drawn to and all these hidden risks. But,
and that's where the money is, Ryan. That's where the money is.
No, the interesting one I think now it hasn't opened up yet, but I think it's only a matter of time. I was driving out 290 or kind of a remote country highway here on my way to Pius. People who follow me on social media know I always go to Pius. And there's a small country store. Yeah, exactly. There's a small country store in the middle of nowhere, and they had one of those old signs where you have to manually put all the letters on it, and it said Pokemon Gym here. And it's a small country store in the middle of nowhere, and they're advertising.
Was there a Pokemon Gym there?
There was.
Oh,
interesting. There is a Pokemon Gym there, right? Which is really because all of that's accidental, right? They're using a map and they're using some data from an old location-based game that Google ran called Ingress. But it would be really interesting if Nintendo, Niantic, Google, if they open up so that companies can start paying to have
I thought they could do that because
Not yet.
They can't.
Not yet.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's monetization right there.
So comic book shop or not really a comic book shop, but Wonko's is it's a toy store that's by our house. Yeah. And they have a gym there as well. And it's just by happenstance, apparently.
Yes, it's all luck right now. But what people
okay.
have been digging into the code, and they found some of the legendary Pokemon that are not out there yet, but that allegedly they will be tied to special events, whether it's Comic-Cons or Nintendo events or special Pokemon events. I imagine that's just a matter of time. When you've got all these people that are just going out in the middle of nowhere, they will absolutely fly to LA, to New York, or whatever. If you were to tell them there's a Pokemon convention, and by the way, we're going to drop 10 legendary Pokemons, of course you're going to sell like 5,000 tickets to that thing immediately.
I have a question for Jimmy. You said you didn't ever play the game, and and I'm assuming you didn't download it. Yeah, right. Okay, you didn't download it.
Is it in Canada yet? Is it there? I just don't know because it's not in every country.
I have no idea.
Question? Are you even
I don't
interested
know,
in
actually.
something like this? Is that like this? Are you intrigued at all?
The only part that I'm intrigued by is, I guess, the technology and how it actually is working. Because one of the questions I was going to ask was how, like, I know that you go out and you find these Pokemon on the corner or wherever. Like, how do they actually get there?
Well, I think it's just the algorithm of the game. So the way that the game normally works is that in a controlled environment, and I'm talking about the normal game before this app, in a controlled environment, you would explore the world around you, walk around, and they would have places that Pokemon could be. And they pop up, and then you have like a quick little battle, and then you can either try to catch it or you run away. That's really the concept of the game. In this case, they have general areas, I think, that are pre-planned or predestined in the game itself that are around what they call Pokestops. This is a new thing for the game. It's based in real world, where you can go to different landmarks or on your street or at shops or wherever it may be, and collect different things. They have like eggs, and if you're not part of the game, this probably may not make sense, but eggs and Pokeballs and a whole bunch of stuff that you can get for free. Anyways, along the way, when you to a Pokestop or a gym where you do battles, there are going to be hidden Pokemons that are just kind of there. And the way that they pop up is that there's a signifier called like little floating leaves. These little floating leaves pop up on your screen, and that gives you kind of like a marker that says, oh, there's a Pokemon around here. And you look around based off of your actual body, you kind of move around in the area, and then it'll pop up in front of you, and then you play by trying to catch it.
And it's kind of cool because they're just like in the older games, because the older games I've read about but I hadn't played, and all these Pokemon are kind of based on different elements. And so if you go out exploring the real world, because it's based on Google Maps, but it has like a nice colorful overlay on top of it, if you want a particular type of Pokemon, like a water Pokemon, you go to the water. Like go to a large lake, go to a river, and you're much more likely to find it. In the grass or foresty areas, you'll find those kinds of based ones. I mean, they do kind of try to align around that. Yeah, so it's really kind of interesting when you're in a particular area. Like if you're in like in my area, where it's all kind of suburbs, I've got like a lot of the rats and the little pigeons, just because there's lots of houses around, right?
Me too.
But like over by where Isaac has summer camp, because when I've been dropping him off, they've got a Pokestop, so I'll spin that once. But there's a dodo or duo or whatever you call it. It's a big bird, and it just always sits there.
There's a creek by my house, and I was able to get a squid earlier. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And even though, Jimmy, it's kind of random, it works for everyone. So it's not random from device to device. So like if I found a particular Pokemon at a certain area near the office, I could go tell Jenny, hey, I found this Pokemon over there. She could go over there and she'll find it too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories of people sharing.
Me not wanting crabs again.
Are there any limited ones, like when you do it, it goes away? Or I mean, I thought there were some rare ones.
There are rare ones that are harder to find, but so far from what I've heard is that they still will be in that particular area. There's a viral story that went around about a guy who was wandering around 2 a.m. Like a white guy, and then he ended up talking with 2 black players in the middle of the park, and the cops were called because they thought a drug deal was going down, but honestly they were just playing Pokemon Go. And the 2 guys told this third guy, oh yeah, there was a Charizard or something like over by this truck, and he went over there, and sure enough there it was. So apparently even
people people together,
Yeah.
right?
I totally agree with that.
My Facebook page,
Strangers.
bringing people apart.
Strangers.
Beautiful.
Jonathan,
So,
we're seeing these people out on the streets and driving by, and we may pull over to get a Pokestop or whatever, find a Pokemon because we'll see the notifications, and then all of a sudden we'll see other people come to the same place, and then we're having this weird moment where all of us are like, "You're playing? I played too! Oh my god, we're both playing! This is so great!" And it's
I love these location-based games are supposed to bring people together. I remember a day back in 2010. There was this great game called Orphic Wars. I thought that was.
I don't know what that is.
It was a game that I made for the iPhone a long time ago, and it was a geolocation based.
Zombie Kittens? Was that the same? Is that the Zombie Kitten one?
Yeah. No. I mean, a bunch of people have been writing me because they're like, "When do you get money for Pokemon?" I'm like, "You get no money." Like the idea of playing a game in the real space, it actually has been done before. There's a great graphic because even the exact same company that's done Pokemon, Niantic, they
Ryan, patent troll. Let's go. Come on. I was going to patent on it, but I mean that was the important part.
This company, along with Google, has had a game out for over 6 years called Ingress. And you probably have never heard of it, but it is an amazing game, and people are really dedicated to it. And it has a lot of the similar, it actually is built on the same data. The Pokemon game is using the Ingress data, but Ingress does not have Pokemon. It is not, it doesn't have this fun kind of familiar.
It's an engine with branding on top of it, right? Last question before we move on to the next one. How long is this going to last?
I was going to ask the same thing because does Nintendo?
Well, let's answer it, Jenny.
Well, no, I'm going to pose this back to you guys because I'm weary. I don't know. Weary is the word, but I'm curious because Nintendo has not done so well with its recent consoles over time. The past 2 consoles haven't done that well. But when they now move to an app platform, when they're focusing on the gameplay and software, maybe they found a new niche. Maybe they go that route versus trying to pour all the money into a new console gaming system. And I think that this goes on for quite a while because this is brand new technology. Remember when the Wii came out and we were interacting with the wands and everything? That became new technology. And I think that this is going to be kind of the new trend for technology as well. I think it's going to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
What do you think that they can layer on top of it?
I'm sorry, say that, Jimmy?
Lots.
Yeah.
I think that Jenny hit the Bulbasaur on the nose, and this is exactly this game is gonna go on for a while because Nintendo has been hit and miss with console. They have been hit with their own games.
Software in the games,
right?
Yeah.
Their games are always good. It's always a question of other people making games, and now they've kind of abandoned their hardware. I mean, not completely. They're gonna have other consoles, but they don't need it for this. And this is just Pokemon. And not only does this basic game already be attracting all these people, and right now it's a very simple game. It's finding Pokemon at random and battling at gyms, which is very, very tame. But there's so much more. If you look at what Ingress has done over the last couple of years. In fact, one of Jimmy and my friends, Chris out in LA, who's a big gamer just on all these different games, was telling me here are all the things that Ingress has added over the years that if Pokemon starts to add, I mean, it's just going to explode. Ingress has missions that you go from place to place to place, and then you earn badges and you earn special rewards. And it has different things that you can reinforce and do within your community. Right now, there's one thing that you can do once you've collected Pokemon, and that's battle for gyms.
Right?
One thing. That's all that you can do right now.
Yeah.
In the future, they can add all these other kinds of things, and this just gets a richer and more engrossing experience. This is going to be around for a long time.
I think it's going to be around, but I don't think it. I think that I see people playing this that just do not play Pokemon related stuff. I mean, is people oh my god, that person's playing?
Yeah. That may go come and go.
The craze will go away, but I mean, I think they could have
stick around though.
But Ryan, finish this up with your story about the guy who was posting on Facebook who hated Pokemon at work.
Oh yeah. There was someone who was posting why are all these people posting about Pokemon? And so he was close enough to the front of our office where there's a Pokestop, and someone had lured it. So I went over there, and sure enough, I found a Pokemon in his cube. And so I took a picture of it and posted it on his Facebook page, and I was just like, "This is it. This is the ultimate achievement, right?" So,
the Pokemon hater had a Pokemon
It was
in his
great.
queue.
It was
That's
awesome.
freaking awesome.
yeah, it was just a rat, but it was good. It was a lot of fun, and
Well,
I
we
think-
work it down.
yeah, I think this is going to be a huge experience moving forward. And I mean, to your point, there may be a lot of new players that may come and go, but if you look at Pokemon sales, like of their video games on all the consoles,
That's what I'm saying.
it is always huge.
It's insane.
If they can keep the fanboys walking around, that's a huge win. Bernie Sanders supporters said, let's just put some really rare Pokemon in the actual voting place in November just to get all the young people out.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got, Ryan?
Well, another story came out today. It came across our news feeds while we were in between walking around trying to catch Pokemon. And
I was working.
it relates to a conversation. It's a conversation that we had just last week when we did our last episode. About the DC Cinematic Universe. In particular, not Suicide Squad, which is coming out very, very soon, but the one after that, which is Wonder Woman, which I think, Suicide Squad is going to be, if that misses, they're in real trouble. But if Suicide Squad hits, there still is a big question mark as to the next movie, right? Because is Wonder Woman going to be closer to Bat Soup, or is it going to take its own voice and show that there's some actual range?
And she's in the Justice League, and they're not, right? So, I mean, it kind of keeps the most important part of the universe
moving forward.
Right, exactly. So she's one of the main line, as opposed to like Suicide Squad, which is kind of fringe, sort of. Batman's there, so it's there, but whatever. And it just came out, and I'm actually shocked that we didn't know this before, but I guess no one knew this before. That's why it was a story as to who wrote the Wonder Woman story. And the Wonder Woman script. I guess we never knew this. We knew who the director was. We knew who some of the stars were. And it turns out that there are 3 writers, and one of them, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
I thought Zack Snyder was just got a story credit, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't that make you worried? Doesn't that make you worried? Honestly, I mean, okay. There's 2 things going on here. Why didn't they say anything? Because they know that there was a huge backlash with Bat Soup and what happened with him and the dark road that he took that movie, and even just the poor writing.
The lame road.
It was. It was bad overall, right? That was a bad showing for a movie that could have been so good. And then, like, they've been publicizing the strong female character, but keeping it under wraps, like.
That makes sense.
Now wait, Jeff Johns was one of them.
Makes me so angry.
Jeff Johns is great, but who was the third?
I didn't know him. I mean, he was
Eisenberg or something.
We should look it up.
But I bet he was probably the main writer, right? Because Jeff Johns.
It's 3 white guys just wrote Wonder Woman. Like,
yeah,
that's a good
exactly.
point.
No estrogen whatsoever.
Exactly.
Hey, Jenny, did you know in this version Steve Trevor is the main character?
Oh my God, I swear to God.
It's funny, right? So,
actually, it's going to be called Invisible Jet, a Wonder Woman story.
This is the problem right now.
Glass ceiling, invisible jet.
This stuff up. They really do. I told you many podcasts ago, like, I don't know how many podcasts, like 50? It was like podcast 10, where I'm like, this movie is going to be dog poo because they're doing it the wrong way. And they are continuing to do things the wrong way. They're not establishing characters. They have bad writers. They have like a whole new theme of darkness that nobody really likes. I mean, it worked only for Christopher Nolan because he knows how to do that type of stuff. But everything else needs to have a completely different tone. And now that Zack Snyder is technically a part of the writing for Wonder Woman, I'm really worried about this movie. I wasn't before. I was like super excited, but now I am. Now I'm worried, and I shouldn't be worried about this movie.
But I don't even think it's a Christopher Nolan thing that you say that he knows how to do dark and Snyder and whoever doesn't. I think part of it is that Superman and Wonder Woman, they really shouldn't be dark. I mean, Batman
I agree.
is fine, but
yeah,
you're right. Man of Steel was way too dark.
You're right.
Bat Soup just continued that.
Well,
So just because
dark is one thing. I like dark. I don't like stupid. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if it's dark and good, I'll see that, right? If it's
Well,
dark,
that's what the whole Dark Knight series was. It was dark and good.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's
but-
good
but
because
that made
Nolan's
sense.
good and Zack Snyder's a moron, right?
But,
I mean,
but they drew the wrong lessons, right, from Batman, which is that
Yeah.
Batman is dark because he's the Dark Knight. He preys on fear. Look, the reason why he picked a bat as his symbol is because everyone's supposed to be afraid of bats. I mean, this was way back in the 40s and 50s when we had less things to be afraid of. Honestly, all thieves are afraid of bats. Really? I mean, bats. But okay, let's play along with that, right? So it's supposed to be about fear. Superman was never about that. Superman was supposed to be kind of about this optimistic vision. That being said, I still liked Man of Steel because I thought it was a refreshing and modern twist, but I was afraid that they were going to go too dark, and they did. I mean, that soup, I mean, they couldn't afford lighting on it. It was crazy. I think the only lighting came from special effects.
Do you remember the reel that they showed between the actual video version of taping that they had compared to what the process version was? Do you remember the side by sides?
Oh, when they took out the colors. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Yeah, that's right.
I believe that was on Gabbing Geek at some point back when I used to write.
It was. But here's the thing: aren't you guys worried about Wonder Woman now that you hear about Zack Snyder? Does anybody else?
Jenny, we were all worried about it. For a long time. That and Captain Marvel, right?
Well, let me throw this out there too. Was Zack Snyder a writer on Batman versus Superman?
Yes.
At least the story credit.
He wasn't?
Was he just the director?
He was just a director.
Was Jeff Johns a writer on it, Jimmy?
Jeff Johns was not.
Who was?
Who was
Chris
the writer
Terrio,
on that?
I don't know who that is. And
I know
David
Danny
Escobar.
Terrio. Who? And who?
Great.
Okay.
David
Okay,
Escobar.
well then, maybe that's
Oh,
not
wait.
the
No, that name's familiar.
Maybe
That
that's
name's
the
familiar.
problem.
He's got some credit.
I don't know.
Who? David S.
Goyer?
Oh, Goyer. Yeah, he wrote Dark Knight. I mean, that.
Yeah,
Shout out to Bianca. Hi, Bianca.
Funny story. So David Goyer and Jeff Johns, the fact that they're writing, they used to write together on. They're both comic writers. So Goyer wrote Blade and directed Blade. I mean, he's written a lot of superhero movies. Jeff Johns is still like the chief creative officer of DC Comics. I shouldn't have to tell you this because you guys are comic fans and I'm not, but I know this.
I don't read DC though.
Back in 2000, the late 90s, early 2000s, Bianca, Tom, and I used to all post to a message board, the DC message board, like DC Comics message board. Mm-hmm. And those guys were real active. Johns and Goyer were real active posting because they were writing Justice Society at the time. And they would have conversational stuff, and it wasn't even just about the comic books. I mean, they would join in on the chit chat and the banter. And to think that both of those guys have now written movies that are going to be cinematic, it's like, I mean, they were famous then because they were the comic book writers, but
now it's bridge. Well,
right.
Now Zack Snyder, I mean, as much as we, give him grief, and maybe it's just the outline of the story, but he was enough of a big name to get the credit. I will say I have a lot of faith in Jeff Johns, right? Not just because of the comics, but also Flash on TV.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's been in charge of that, and the overall tone of that show is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it's closer to that, but we're just all afraid because Bat Soup, we're gun shy.
I know. Yeah.
The only pause I have with that, Ryan, is like John's only recently got, I guess, a promotion. He's kind of more of the head of the DC films now, and I wonder how much influence he actually had at the time that Wonder Woman was written.
Yeah, are they done? Did they say that they
higher up, but
they're wrapped, right?
Yeah, it may be too late to save Wonder Woman, is what you're saying.
God, this makes me so angry. Seriously, because they had this one chance, but hold on. Actually, I'm having a thought. Hold on. I mean, I want Wonder Woman to be successful. I want it for so many reasons. But if they F this up, then this really opens up the door for Marvel to bring Captain Marvel in and Carol Danvers and do something amazing with that, which I know that they can do. I have all the faith in Marvel and none in DC. I just really want Wonder Woman to be successful because she is a wonderful story.
Jenny, let me ask you this. At this point, right, your perspective, DC on its best day, does it beat Marvel on its worst day? when it comes to like female characters, like Wonder Woman being its best and Captain Marvel being its worst. Which is the better movie? Oh,
I don't even understand the question.
That's hard.
Perfect. Ed. Take another.
No, that's hard. I mean, I think that's Marvel at its worst, DC at its best. Are we just talking cinematically?
Yes.
Not counting the Dark Knight
Marvel
series.
wins. Then Marvel wins.
Yeah, because Ant-Man is better than Bat Soup. I mean,
I would say Iron Man 3, which is the worst in my mind.
Hawk.
No, Iron Man 2 is worse than 3. I think we can all agree on that.
No, I hate what's his face.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey
Rourke was awesome in that movie. I don't know. I think we're not on the same page for Iron Man 2.
I like Iron Man 2. I like Iron Man 2. 3 is better than 2.
Having a Zack Snyder led female, the first solo female superhero movie as influenced by Zack Snyder is like if Sarah Palin had become the first woman president, right? It's just so disappointing. It's like you want to break that barrier, but it's damn Sarah Palin. I mean, it's like.
Can we take a step back? Because I think he just pointed it to us. Jimmy is wearing a Bat Soup shirt.
Oh yeah, nice.
How? Why?
Why?
Did you get it before you saw the movie, Jimmy?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
No, don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about it.
Do you recognize this one?
Yeah.
Oh God.
You have one of those too, right? I bought you one of those.
Listen. Don't give shit, to Jimmy about this because the actual comic book is pretty good. It's the movie that effed it up. So it's not him.
Which comic? There's tons of comics.
Look. As I told you guys offline,
it's better than the movie.
The fact that Zack Snyder's involved with this just tells us that the movie Wonder Woman, the main fight scene is going to end when Wonder Woman and her archenemy realize both their mothers is named Hippolyta. I mean, that's the ball game. People.
I'm sorry. What was their names again? What was
yeah, Kashyyyk. Okay, Kashyyyk.
Hippolyta? Is that how they say it? Where you come from?
What is her name? How do you pronounce it?
Hippolyta.
I thought it was Hippolyte.
This sounds like a goddamn Pokemon, okay?
It's a
okay. All right, enough.
Speaking of women,
it was a big hippo.
Women on an island.
It went on a diet, and now it's a hippolyte. So,
speaking of bitches,
I'm
sorry.
You can't say that.
Speaking of strong, empowered female
character-based movies, Wonder Woman's coming out in a few months, but in just a few days, we have finally the all-women reboot, remake, building on. I'm still not sure exactly how it fits in with the original, but the new Ghostbusters is almost here.
It's a reboot, I think.
Is it? But
they say 30 years ago in the trailer.
Exactly, that's the thing.
But they came out after the fact. Even I think even the director came out and said the trailer is confusing and it's not a continuation. It's as if the first two movies didn't take place.
So there's been a lot of backlash and backlash and forward lash and side lash and I think even a little bit of underlash, but we'll have to talk to Watson about that. But about this movie, bottom line is it's coming out. Rotten Tomato scores are in the high 70s right now, which
that's not so bad.
That's decent, but it's also for something of this caliber, honestly,
it should be.
You would expect 80s, and you would even hope for higher.
This is okay though. That's an okay number to make some money.
It is, but for summer comedies, it's you typically want to have one of those breakouts. I was personally hoping for much higher. I'm still really excited to see it. What are you guys thinking? Has the backlash over the trailer impacted you? The commercials, anything? What?
Yeah, I'm going to see it. No doubt about it. I'm going to see it. I was really excited when they announced the gender swap the female casting. I thought that was inspired, a good way to make a spinoff different.
And the 4 that they got.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dream team right now of female comedians.
There could have been they could have swapped in Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. We talked about this on Gabbing Geek 6 or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
But
Mindy,
the trailers
what's her
look
last
terrible.
name?
Kaylee.
Yeah.
The trailers look terrible. Everything that's funny about what's her name? Melissa McCarthy is just dull in there. And I mean, and everything that I like about
Kristen Wiig.
There you go. Thanks, Jenny. My my external hard drive, Jenny.
This is amazing.
And my kids' names are
Colin.
Yeah, there you go. And that other little bastard. Like none of the skills, like none of the things that I think that's funny about them is even relatively apparent.
I think the trailer is deceiving, and here's my one thought about all of this is that I said this with Age of Ultron. I said that with any of the Marvel movies that we've seen, that we've just got to go out and see it and then assess, because the critics are always going to bash it. And they're also going to bash it because they have source material to compare it to. They're not treating this like a standalone movie like they should. Yeah. So at this point in time, I feel like we just need to go and see the movie and let it happen and just let these women be amazing like we know that they're going to be. I mean, these are amazing people. And if you've seen any of the two new casts from Saturday Night Live, these two girls, now I can't remember.
Catherine and Elizabeth Jones.
I can't tell you.
Are unbelievable.
They are amazing. They are amazing. Oh,
these are unbelievable women, and I think that this is going to be one of those things that people go, shit, I was wrong.
I hope so,
because comedies are known for like not putting the funny stuff in the trailers.
Well, but that's the thing is that how many comedy trailers have we had where like that was the funniest stuff? Like I'm hoping that that's not the case here, because
if this is the funniest stuff, we're screwed.
That's completely true.
That's true.
It would be so nice to get you, because you're right. Melissa McCarthy does not have very good lines in the trailer, but she's got good lines in the movie. She's the funniest female comedian in the movies now.
Why haven't they shown them?
Because they're saving it. They're saving it.
Because that's how marketing works.
Hold on. If you ask Leslie, if you ask any of the cast, any of them, they will all say the same thing, that they are completely and utterly disappointed with the way that they're marketing this and the way that they've shown the trailers. Oh. They have said that they're just so disappointed in all of it because they're not showing the true spirit of the movie. And I actually believe those women. I believe that they know what funny is, and that they're looking at this going, shit, they're not even giving us a chance, And so, like,
it's a great point about the trailer, which is a fantastic segue to a little game I prepared for you. Oh, boy. Because as you may have known, there has been a lot of backlash over the trailer. In fact, it is the most disliked movie on YouTube in history. It is getting close to 1 million thumbs down, and we'll probably pass it by the end of this week. So it is the most disliked movie ever on YouTube in YouTube's history.
Mostly Trump voters. Yes. They're just so gendered.
And it's funny that you should say that, Mr. Watson.
What a segue! I didn't even know!
Because today's game is, I'm going to read you guys some quotes, and it will be your job to figure out if this is a quote that is submitted as a comment on the Ghostbusters trailer on YouTube, or if it is something that Donald Trump has said.
I'm so excited!
Right?
Oh no!
I'm giving me. I can't give me a high five, but I think I should.
That's good.
Did I not tell you this was going to be one of the greatest games ever?
I will give one to Ryan, but bring it, Jenny.
Bring it.
Please.
My triple meter is high. My triple meter BS is high.
Okay, are you all ready?
I am born ready.
Okay.
Which you told us to start drinking beforehand. So.
Yes, I did. Okay, so here is your first quote, and it will be your job to guess if it is a quote from Trump or a YouTube comment on the Ghostbusters trailer. Here it is, number one.
Do we say got it? Or
no, we'll just all go around. We'll just
okay.
All right. First quote. It really doesn't matter what the media writes as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of ass.
Trump.
Jenny?
That's YouTube comments.
Jimmy?
Comments.
That is a Trump quote. Okay, so you're gonna have to keep track of your own score. I can't do it right now, but
no score. The only loser is America. I think we all realize.
Okay. Second quote. It is not misogynistic to think women can't be funny. It is just observable reality. Donald Trump or a YouTube comment?
Trump.
I think it's Trump. I think he's talking about Rosie O'Donnell.
Jimmy?
Comment.
That is a YouTube comment.
Oh, shit.
All right. Doesn't mean Trump doesn't believe it. Just means he didn't say that specific quote. All right.
Next context clues, Jimmy.
Next quote. I don't consider myself sexist or racist.
That's Trump.
Trump's definitely said that in some form or another. It could be both, but that's definitely Trump.
Trump.
YouTube comment.
No, that's both. I will find that comment.
Please do at a later time. But that was copied and pasted from a YouTube comment on the Ghostbusters video.
Hold on a second. What if it was Trump posting on YouTube? He's got spare time.
Very
He's
good
got a
point.
campaign.
Very good point.
got a
However,
point.
all the YouTube comments were by different users, so that would only apply to this one. So moving on to our next quote. Next quote. My IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it. Please don't feel so stupid or insecure. It's not your fault.
That's Trump.
Trump.
That is Trump. Correct.
Yeah!
All right. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Next quote. You wouldn't have your job if you weren't beautiful.
Oh my God.
Trump. I'm just gonna guess Trump because they all sound like Trump.
Sound like this. I know. I'm gonna go YouTube comment. I'm just flipping a coin at this point.
Okay. Jimmy?
Comment.
Trump. That was a Trump one. So there we go. All right. Next quote. Cheeky twats is a fantastic insult. I might use that. It covers the front and back. Nice.
Oh my gosh, that's a YouTube comment. It's too terrible. It's too
I gotta go with comment. Please God, let me comment. Please God, let me comment.
Please.
That is a YouTube
Oh
comment.
thank God.
Our democracy is preserved.
Okay. Next.
Jimmy, we're all coming to your house, remember? We're all coming to your house.
Next quote. It's always about gender equality with stupid women.
Trump.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Comment.
Oh,
Please let
I'm
me
I'm gonna say comment. Please let it. Yeah.
That is a YouTube comment.
Wow.
All right.
Oh boy. This is terrible.
Watson, are you about to be invaded? Are your dogs like fending off attackers right now, or have they?
You want my dog? Yeah, no, there's nothing I can do.
All right. Okay. Next quote. Women have one of the greatest acts of all time. The smart ones act very feminine and needy, but inside they are real killers.
That's Trump.
That's Trump. Yeah. It has to be Trump.
I'll say comment.
Donald Trump.
Oh God, I knew it.
Okay. Next one. Django Unchained is the most racist movie I've ever seen. It sucked.
I think it was Trump. I think I saw that on Good Morning America. I don't know.
I'll say comment to be different.
Donald Trump. That is a
Yeah.
Donald Trump tweet from back when the movie came out.
Yeah.
And that's the most racist movie Donald Trump has ever seen. So
God.
there you go.
Has he looked at the news and himself? I mean, oh my
His
God.
biopic. Yeah.
All right.
I saw his
Two more quotes. Two more.
Two more.
All right,
Okay.
here we go. The penultimate quote. This is like if your dad died and then you woke up the next morning to see a clown wearing your dad's clothes saying, "This is fun, right?"
That's
Comment.
a YouTube comment.
They're wearing
Definitely
the
a comment.
That's a YouTube comment.
That is a YouTube comment.
Yeah.
That is right. But it had killer clowns in it. Had to take it up for Jenny. So,
Yeah.
Okay, final quote. My favorite part. Okay, here's the quote. My favorite part of Pulp Fiction is when Sam has his gun out in the diner and he tells the guy to tell his girlfriend to shut up. Tell that bitch to be cool. Say, bitch, be cool. I love those lines. Donald Trump or a YouTube comment?
YouTube
I don't know.
comment?
Trump.
I'll go with Trump. That's how sad is this?
That is Donald Trump.
Oh my God!
Ryan,
It's so
best
awful.
game ever.
Oh my
Right?
Best game ever.
Right?
You know
That
what?
needs to be-
I've lost faith in humanity. I've lost faith in our nation.
No, just America. Just America.
I mean,
We're
we
Ryan, like
Jimmy,
you need-
I'm moving up. You just get that
you need to
question
send it
ready.
to, like, Jimmy Kimmel. Like that game is awesome. That game needs to be
I
on
mean,
Jimmy Kimmel.
we have heard this said many times that this election feels like it's a battle between the article and the comment section.
Yeah.
This game really shows that it's a true battle.
Yeah.
There we go. So, well, hey, fantastic episode 67.
Ryan, that was a great episode on gender, but hey, I got a challenge for you guys.
Uh-oh.
I got a challenge. Speaking of strong female leads, the book Stiletto just dropped last month. We've all read the book The Rook, which is the original one. I think that I need to get reading again, and I have started reading that one, and it's episode 67. So I challenge everybody except for Jimmy, who's not going to read. We'll put Tom in that spot.
Tom's already almost done.
There's no pictures in the book, Jimmy. I'm sorry. By episode 70, let's do a Gabbing Geek book club spoiler review of both The Rook. We'll probably talk about The Rook just as a setup, but of Stiletto, the new book in the Rook series. Game on? Challenge accepted?
Game on.
Yep.
I've already started it, and it's pretty good. I like where they're going with this, so I'm
a couple
excited.
pages into it. I'll get into it.
3 episodes. That could be as little as 3 weeks away, or it
3
could be in
years.
2019. So there's just no telling. That's
President Trump will be
No.
in power and telling us that he likes the gun
Please
scene and the
no.
bitch shuts up.
Please.
President YouTube comment. So there we go. So, all right. Well, hey, Jenny, why don't you tell people how they can reach you on the social medias?
Hey, please go to Twitter at Jenny_Newman.
Mr. Impossible.
Really?
Go to gabbinggeek.com and tag anything written by Tom Kelly.
Very nice. Very nice. Mr. Watson.
Whitty Watts at Twitter.
There you go. You can reach me on Twitter at SomeGeekLawyer. You can reach all of us at Gabbing Geeks or email us at gabbinggeek@gmail.com. But yes, gabbinggeek.com has all the cool content that Tom has decided to provide for you. There are run-throughs on TV shows that have been gone for years, but they're feeling fresh and new because they're being watched one by one. So it's all fantastic stuff. Well, hey, let's find out what we learned today.
What did we learn today? Put my hat on.
Oh, look at your
first
little
we learned-
snazzy.
No, you see what it is?
We got the
I
Pimp
see.
Daddy
It's
hat.
super,
Yeah.
super creeper. Yeah. Way to
That's
go.
my Pimp Daddy hat.
It is the Pimp- yeah,
That's
yes,
not-
it is.
That's creepy.
We have learned that Pokemon Go is a really fun game to play.
It
Give it a
is.
shot.
Give it a shot.
While we were on Gabbing Geek, my kids texted me and they said they started without me.
Yep.
So those little bastards.
So now you need to catch up. You got to catch them up.
I can catch them all.
Yeah, there you go. We also learned, Jenny is very concerned that Wonder Woman is going to be dog poo, which is essentially saying that Zack Snyder is doing it doggy style. So I think that's a good thing for us
His
to know
favorite position.
and picture.
With more poo than it should have.
Yes. And finally, we have proven tonight, empirically, that Donald Trump is a living YouTube comment.
I think we already knew.
We did, but now we have proven it. So, hey, fantastic episode 67. Be sure to join us for episode 68. But until then, that's those of us here at Gabbing Geek reminding you, you're right. No human being would stack books like this.